It's on. Make sure they send the invite out to all of us because we'll show up.
Sure.
Awesome. Hey, let's get it started. People are still trickling in because, as realtors, we're always fashionably on time. I guess not. Anyways, so tell me something good. Dude, I was just at the Big Island. We had the most amazing event. Dylan Tanaka, dude, team agency. Crushed it again. Bro, tell us about that a little bit, man. That was a major win. How did you feel about that event?
Yeah, it's the closest thing to stressed out I get because there's so many moving pieces, right? You don't know. There's so many different speakers and the hotels involved and all the AV guys and it always comes together just perfectly and went off without a hitch. And I mean, just tons and tons of value, 8 hours of value on one day and went over on the next day. We did agent attraction on Saturday. And yeah, just you're getting tons and tons of positive feedback, and definitely everybody's invited to the next one, May 14th, if you guys want to make a trip out to Hawaii. So,
oh yeah, I know Cindy might want to, and Rich coming out from 40 Degrees might want to. But yeah, definitely an amazing event. That's Level Up 2023, right? So that's the second one. Last year was amazing. This year was even better. Everybody that was there attended said that they had such amazing response of the people that were on stage, their authenticity, their vulnerability, their ability to speak about things that were probably things they would never talk about to anybody, but they did. It was amazing. So thank you so much for putting that on, man. Again, blessed to have you part of our group, Dylan Tanaka and Team Agency, man. Yes, rocked it. Something else. Tell me something good. Maxwell Sealy, he's not in the BDU suit today, brother. You're in some regular clothes. I love it.
Yeah, I had a closing this morning, so.
Oh, congratulations.
Stay home from work today, so that was nice.
I love it. You're definitely going to surpass your dad. I feel it already. You're doing well. Good job, my man.
I appreciate
it. What's up? Tell me something good.
I got a couple good things.
Go for it, Ronnie.
Just took a $15.5 million listing down by Anahola Bay. And I don't know if any of you all have heard anything from the luxury division of EXP. I know I got a document to sign, but Chris, have you heard anything about sort of the rollout of any of the tools or anything?
For luxury, all I know is from EXP Con was that you had to get you got to apply for it. For what I know, to be in a luxury brand. Yep, you got that part, and then you get accepted.
I applied, and then I got something from Abby, our admin,
after we're all enrolled. After you sign up and pay, you get an email. They invite you to a Facebook group. All of the tools and resources are there. So
have you checked them out?
Not yet. I got the email this morning that it's all available.
And then I'm going to do a thing called Icon Live in March. My coach, Sean Kokoska, is going to be here on Kauai. So I'm going to do like a 4-hour event with Sean, promoted statewide. He just did something in Orange County. He had about 250 people there with an agent named John Tsai.
Yeah,
and one of the things I like about coaching with Sean is he shares his revenue share screen with me. So he always gives me something. I think he's got over 2,000 in their group now. So it's pretty inspiring.
Yeah, let us know those dates because actually I'm coming back out there again in March. So let me know those dates, Ron.
I will.
So that'd be awesome. Congratulations on that new listing, my friend. That's awesome. $15 million. Amazing. Good job. Anybody else want to share some wins? How about any new faces here? There's a couple of new faces here, yeah? Trying to think of some new faces here that maybe I have not met before. It's hard to see all these people on the screen. It's like looking at a jukebox here. A bunch of all right. Well, my goal this year, actually. So, Raya, go ahead.
My win is that I just had my biggest transaction in escrow. It's 1.1 million. So nice. I'm very happy about that. And it happened on Level Up. So.
Oh, see, Dylan talked about that, right? Being immersed in the energy, the law of attraction brings it to you. So you did it. Congratulations, Soraya. Awesome. 1 million, man, that's crazy. Congratulations. No, my goal this year for this entire year for 2023 coming up is I want to be able to get to a point where we have a meeting where everybody turns their screen on and shows their beautiful faces because you all have beautiful faces. So I want to see those. My goal is to have every one of these things on here within this next year. Even if you got curlers in your hair, or one eyelash is done and the other eyelash isn't done. That's all good. Or if you're not even shaved, it's all good. We talk about eyelashes, right, Tara? You heard about that. You spend time getting your eyelashes done. It's all good. We're not mad at that. Awesome. All right, we'll move forward then. To the Mortgage Minute, my boy, Carl Lewis, always looking fresh and fly with that hairdo, my friend. Go for it. Let us know what's happening with the mortgage rates.
Hi,
I think you're
everyone.
muted.
First off,
There we go.
for those of you newer to the group, I just want to say I'm grateful for Chris and everyone and just having me on. And yeah, super excited to just be able to share what's going on in the mortgage industry. I feel like the tools that, you're able to utilize on the loan side are going to help you sell more houses. So yeah, with that, just kind of like current information right now, we send a weekend rate update every Friday. For any of those of you that want to be on that, it's just a text with like where rates are at for conventional FHA, VA. Conventional rates we're priced right around 6%. We're at 5.909 on Friday, FHA 5.394, VA 5.418. So we're seeing rates go down. And we've been saying that for a long time, not a long time, last few months. We were expecting rates to go down because we know there's a lot of lagging indicators with inflation that aren't really in the inflation numbers. And as we're starting to see that kind of trickle into the inflation numbers, and we're seeing inflation come down and we're seeing interest rates come down also. And I think I might have mentioned on another call, but one of the things that I love that Warren Buffett says is that asset prices are directly related to interest rates. So yeah, we might be seeing a little bit of a value kind of pullback or flattening. But as we see interest rates come down, guess what? We're going to see more demand and we're going to see, prices stabilize and maybe even start going back up in the spring. So there should be a lot of opportunity kind of going in the spring with interest rates. We feel like rates are going to be maybe even as low as 5%. Wouldn't surprise me at some point if we see something with a 4 in front of it eventually. So a lot of these folks who are doing loans now, they're going to turn around and refinance later, right? So not to say that we want to promise that, but definitely for government loans, FHA and VA, you can do streamline refinances. So regardless of the value, they're going to be able to refinance. And one thing I do say is I'm one of the big, sayings we're here, date the rate, marry the mortgage or whatever, marry the house.
Yeah.
You do have to be careful with that because if values do slip a little bit and someone does a conventional loan with 3% or 5% down, they might not be able to refinance. But with a regular conventional, and they can. Now somebody's putting down 20%, they're going to be able to more than likely. But I still think that the market's going to kind of stabilize. So yeah, do you mind if I share my screen really quick?
Yeah,
I just want to give a quick,
Yep.
Cool. Hang on a second here. Couple little things here. All right, so this is the rate update that I send. So this is just a quick little, snip of the rates. So here's historical mortgage rates. This is actually on MBS Highway, not MBS Highway, Mortgage News Dailies. I could send you the link to this, but if you look from November 7th to December 5th, we've got almost a full percent. Like rates have dropped almost a full percent. Now, in a normal market, I wouldn't be on this call. We'd be throwing a party because we'd be so happy that rates dropped 1%.
Yeah.
We're not throwing a party because they're
throwing a party yet.
That we're just like kind of happy they came back down, right? But I think we're going to continue to see this trend. So this is just a really, interesting thing to look at, right? 1 month ago, your average conventional 30-year fix was at 7.25%, and now your average 30-year fix is at 6.33. So lots of good news kind of on the horizon. So Merry Christmas to us all. And also this is really important. So for FHA, we just got the new. So I talked about the loan limits last week, right? For those of you who were on the call, talked about how the loan limits went up, and we were super excited about that because it helped more buyers with low down payments up get into homes. Well, FHA loan limits aren't the same, right? They're not the same. So this is really important for you guys to know. And they're not the same for every area either, just like with conventional, but they're even more meticulous about the area. So like there's low cost areas and there's high cost areas, and then just kind of like median. So if you have an FHA borrower, you want to make sure that this is something where a lot of loan officers make a mistake, just so you know. They need to look up to see what the limit is for FHA. They need to make sure that they double, triple check, because look at the 1 unit for FHA for low cost areas for 2023 is $472.30. I know a lot of Hawaii is not going to have that problem. You guys are going to have more of the kind of other end of it, which is the high cost limit. 1 unit's $1,089,000. But it's good to know that you got to double check no matter what, any county. And then also, if you notice, so here's one really cool, awesome niche, you guys. Like this is like you will change lives if you do this. Talk to these younger, maybe not younger, but usually younger people who are wanting to build wealth in real estate. One of the best ways to do that is to buy a multi-unit property, okay, like a duplex, live in one side for 1 year, and then move out of it and keep it. Because then guess what? You got 2 doors. Now and property management's not that big of a deal. So you could do that. If you buy a 2-unit with FHA, even in the low cost areas, you can get a loan for 604, which means you could buy a property for 625 because you only have to put down 3.5%. Whereas conventional, you got to put down 15%. So you can put down 3.5%, own a duplex, rent one side, get income, stay in it for a year, move out of it, keep it, and then go buy another property. Now you can't have 2 FHA loans at the same time. Usually, some extenuating circumstances, but usually you can't. So you'd have to do a conventional loan maybe on the next one. But by then, maybe you could refinance, take some cash out. But either way, you're going to own 2 units. I could tell you right now, you do that for someone 10 years down the road, they're going to be giving you hugs and telling you how grateful they are. Because that's a game changer for your long-term, wealth building strategy, in my opinion. So yeah, hopefully that helps you guys out. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Wanted to kind of share that with you. But yeah, if you need anything, feel free to call, text, email me anytime. And thanks again for having me on the call, Chris.
Absolutely, Carl. Always bringing some amazing content. Thanks, my friend. And that's why people that are asking about him putting it, we will put all these slides, and I always do every week. I do a recap of the team meeting and all the slides and stuff that Carl puts out in the stream. So if you're not in the Google Classroom yet, you need to get in there. All right. Also, real quick, book of the month. Last month was, boom, 10X Rule, Grant Cardone. How many of you, show of hands, got a chance to read this book? How many chances you got to buy the book? Maybe just put it on your calendar. I mean, I'm good with that too. It's a start, Raquel. Awesome. All right. Game changer right now. Lonnie, good job. Game changer right here, man. In this day and age, the market we're in, you need to figure out how to 10X your activities. Second month, we're in December. All right, here's the next one. Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I already posted it in the stream on the classroom. The link's in there on Amazon. You can get it through Audible or you can buy the paperback. Another one, win the morning, you win the day. This guy created 6 habits from 6 successful people. 10 minutes each. That's 60 minutes, man. Changes your life. I'm telling you right now. If you can spend 10 minutes on Facebook, there we go, Clara. 10 minutes on Facebook, you can actually spend 10 minutes doing 6 of these little things here and change your dynamic of your life. Just saying. All right. The book of the month, Miracle Morning. I don't want to take any more time up, but I also just want to real quick say, Mike Blake, brother, love you. I just want to say shout out. I'm glad to see you, and I'm glad the family's doing great, and everything has come back around. I miss you, my friend. It's good to see you on here. All right. So we're going to move into our amazing guest speaker we have today, and I am going to share this gentleman here. I had a pleasure of actually meeting Rich at Build. He spoke at Build with Brent in Texas, and just his demeanor and his personality is something like unspeakable. I don't know. His energy, the way he is, he's such a real, down-to-earth person, and I've always loved his approach. This guy's got over 2 decades, 23 years of real estate experience. He's had it from appraisals to everything in real estate. He's moved around now. He's currently living in North Carolina. He's been with RE/MAX, small brokerages. Now he's currently with EXP. And he has over 2,000, close to almost 3,000 agents in almost, all 50 states now, I think. Rich, I think it's pretty much all 50 states and 14 or 15 countries, right? But this guy is all about building teams and leveraging and understanding the market. He's been through several of them, so he gets it. But I just love his approach. I love his style. I love the way he speaks. He comes from genuineness, man. Rich, I'm serious. So I just when I saw you in Texas, I was like, dude, I love that guy, man. He's such great energy. So without further ado, I'm going to let Rich take it over again. Everybody, if you want to see Rich in a bigger picture, get on his box right there and click on that pin, and you can pin him to your screen, and it makes him bigger. Rich, it's all yours, my friend. Don't do that.
Cool. Thank you, Chris. Thanks, everybody, for carving out some time to learn. Great mortgage minute, Carl. I've been on a bunch of these calls, and I go to sleep. But your energy and the information that you passed through was great, by the way. So listen, I think I want to do a bit of a Q&A on here because, you don't just buy a suit off the rack or a dress off the rack. We can really tailor this down to where it fits you. So we're going to leave some time aside for that. So it's a dialogue, not a monologue. But I just wanted to kind of talk to you about how to start and what to do. It's really, really simple. Okay. So I had no recruiting experience. I came over here when I was 40 with a 1-year-old. Now I've got 2 little boys and I'm going to be 46. So I've been here for 5 years and I had never recruited agents before. And I didn't really love real estate agents in general. So I didn't hang out with a lot of realtors, right? It kind of burnt me out over the course of time. I was an investor. I used to buy multi-units up to 4 units, just like Carl was saying. And then I would put a shared party wall, split them up and sell them as duets. and keep some and constantly be rotating my inventory, right? I'm from Miami, Florida. That's where I did that. So when I came into recruiting, I was a white belt. I had no idea what I was doing. And I realized looking back over the last 5 years, really there's 3 things that you can do and get the results, even despite doing another 10 or 12 things wrong. Okay, so we're just going to cover those 3 things really quickly, and then we'll go as granular as you guys want, depending on the audience, which is blind to me. So just fill me in, okay? So the first thing when you're recruiting agents is you're going to recruit who you are. If you're a $2 million producer, you got to get your production up, because $20 million producers don't follow $2 million producers, right? It's called the law of the lid with John Maxwell. You got to really be the example. Now, you don't have to be the most productive person in the room, because I brought a lot of agents that do 10 times what I do in a year, but you got to be taken seriously, right? So you want to always invest in yourself and upgrade, and then walk the walk. Like no drunk Facebooking, no gossiping on social media, no complaining. Nobody likes a complainer. No nervous people, right? Nervous leaders are not ones that we all want to follow. Like, just get the mechanics of what you're putting out there in the world and do a sober health check and make sure you're coming off in the way that would attract the kinds of people that you want to attract, right? And that's both personal and professional advice, unsolicited, okay? So let's just start here. Strong agents are the most important thing. So when I looked at the EXP model, it became, pretty apparent to me within about 5 minutes of learning the model that agents that sell what I sell work here for free. We're 100% commissions here, right? So anybody who's an icon agent is going to work here for free. So I wanted all my agents to be icon agents, because that was the biggest value proposition I could give them at the time, because coaching with me was no value. I'm not a coach, right? So, and EXP was no real value, because we only had 3,700 agents, not 87,000. But we had a platform that was interesting that would give them a $16,000 stock award, and that could go for a ride or it could be worthless, but sure better than what most of us have, right? So that was the first thing. I wanted all icon agents. And the other thing about icon agents is they had 2 chances to win. They had the one chance to win of being a shareholder at a company that is second to only Zillow in market cap. So in hindsight, we were all geniuses. At the time, we were lucky, right? And then the second way that they can win is by building revenue share and building a vertical there. And if you would have gotten your icon stock the last 5 years that I've been here, even with the stock at today's prices, with the rest of the market that's taken the hit, that's still $331,000 sitting in your E-Trade account. So would you rather have 5 awards or $331,000 that you can cash out and buy another investment property, right? So so that's one basic thing. I had a litmus test. They had to be icon agents. They had to be independent. They had to be able to go into the world. If you couldn't go into the world and figure it out, I wanted this more for me than you need this for you. All right. So I just wanted to have some like basic requirements. Men are very bad at that, because we're always on the pursuit. Women are much better at filtering and saying, hey, this doesn't look good for me, right? So just think, to me, I think like my wife in that situation. My wife uses lots of energy and filter guides on what is good for her and what's not good for her, right? So I needed to do that, because I can get wrapped up in competition and start looking at scorecards. So having a litmus test of the agents that you are going to go after is very, very important. And only talking to those agents is super crucial. So I have 2,200 people. I wish I was nearing 3,000, Chris, but thank you for the goodwill. I have 2,200 agents, but it's still $1,034,000 of revenue share that was paid to me this year to date. So it's not a bad income for something that works while I sleep. Okay. Now, part of that is that when you have 2,200 agents, and it's because everybody gets lucky and everybody gets unlucky, you just can't quit. Okay. But when you have 2,200 agents, how much of a nightmare or what a blessing that's going to be. Now, we know financially it's going to be a blessing, but you don't want to trade your job for another job. I didn't get into this trade for another job. So I wanted independent, responsible, accountable people to come over on my front line, because they can manage lines 2 through 7. But if I bring over a weak leader as a level 1 and they bring over a strong player as a level 2, now I have an adopted level 1. You can only do that so many times, right? Like, I still want to be a dad. I still like to do breathing exercises, and I walk with my mom once a week. Like, I don't want to cut into every bit of life. Okay. So that's talking to strong agents, I think, is a very important thing. And the other thing that is very important is that I closed 1,084 transactions last month, right? That's with 2,200 agents. Now, if I could have closed 1,084 transactions with 600 agents, I'd rather have a group size of 600 agents, right? So it's not about quantity, it's about what kind of production force we have. Okay, so that's, if you guys drew a triangle, top of the triangle is quality people. Guess what? 8s and 9s hang out with 8s and 9s, right? Carl, I'll use him as an example. He could have showed up in his boxer shorts, which he might be wearing, but we can't tell. Or he could wear a shirt and a tie and then put on the tie pin, right? Chances are Carl's probably hanging out with other people that want the same cars, houses, lifestyles, freedoms, powers, luxuries that Carl wants, right? Chris could have came over here with dead energy and opened up the audience like totally on life support, right? But he chose to come over here with an attitude and be grateful and engage, and you can see all that, right? So the way that their body mechanics were showing up just in my first time listening to both of them would allow me to get to the next phase of, hey, okay, what do you know that I don't know, right? But you got to get past that first impression. So strong agents is the top of the triangle. Second thing, you need a simple explanation of the model. When you talk about Sean, by the way, Ronnie, Sean Kokoska and I we have 4 agents difference between our size. We are in a horse race right now where I'm trying to grow whiskers to stay in front. Okay. So, so what happens here on the explanation is, try this out. EXP is a virtual cloud-based office that gives 50% of the gross revenue back to their agents based on their performance and trajectory of efforts, right? And we operate in every place without territories, and we have tech platforms and softwares and collaboration that happens because of the infrastructure of the business model that will blow your mind and transform the way businesses are done. We have 2 copycat companies right now that have pretty much copied EXP. There will never be another antiquated real estate company that's iterated for years to come. It'll all be this model, right? So how exciting is that? Well, I don't know. It's different, but it's not exciting, right? What does that mean to me? I'm selling 50 houses a year. My hair is going gray. My clients are getting crazier, and I'm worried about 2023, right? Well, this is the simple explanation. Look, your entire real estate career, you've only had one lane to drive, and that was selling houses until COVID happened, or you got sick, or your business dried up, or your systems failed you, or any of the stuff that could have happened. I know Chris got sick with COVID. If he didn't have revenue share, that means he would have generated no money during that period of time, right? So we've only had one way to sell real estate, which is you're the hamster, this is the wheel. We do it here virtually. It's very similar to what you expect, but it's a little cooler. We have healthcare, we have all these different programs, right? But at EXP, there's 2/3 of our model that you've never even understood before. One is a shareholder. Imagine every time you bought a pair of Nikes, they gave you stock at the company, or they gave you stock when your friend bought a pair of Nikes, right? Now you have a stake in the company. So you're going to rise with the tide of the company. It's 8 verticals under the holding pattern, so we can get lucky not only in real estate, but in technology and all these other places, right? Coaching, whatever it is, right? And then lastly, you have a 10% ROI on your money. So I used to try to make a 10% ROI on all my multi-units, right? But with EXP, I could take 5% of my commission and get the stock at it. Like, Ronnie, if you sell that $15 million whale, you're gonna have $150,000 of commission that you can get 10% discount on the stock and sell it the next day. You got a 10% ROI on part of that commission. So did you really make 150 or did you make 165? This is the only place in the world where you made $165,000 on a $15 million transaction where the whole world made $150,000 because of the equity program. Sell it that way. It'll do you much better than what you're doing, right? And then the third way is that, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like being placed into an office where I'm around a bunch of competitors and we have to pretend like we're friends, and then they ask me questions all day long and the culture is set. I'm just here to not disturb it. Like, that doesn't sound like fun to me. I'm an adult, I'm rebellious. I don't like when people tell me what to do. So let me go out there and like handpick the people I want to work with, no matter where they live. They could be in Hawaii, which I've never been there, but we could be business partners. We opened up the UK from my dining room table right here in Mooresville, North Carolina. All 330 estate agents in my group, right? We can work anywhere, and we can pick the people we want to work with, and we're going to do life. This is the final stop. We're going to do this together. So you have lane 1, that's the fast lane. You have lane 2, the cruise control lane. Just take it easy, guys. Put on your favorite music, listen to Spotify, chill out. Hope you brought a good passenger. And then you have the third lane. It's the VW bus. Clear out the smoke. Get in the bus. We're going for a road trip, and we're all going together. And if it breaks down, we push it together. And if it gets there perfectly, we all celebrate together. And there's 3 different things that you can do at one company, and you don't have to focus on any one thing or all of them. And we have respective training and support to help build entrepreneurs, which has never been welcome before. So a simple explanation is a 30, 60, 90-second elevator pitch. And I can pitch the 3-lane highway in probably 30, 40 seconds. And you have a fundamental understanding of what we do. Then the next question is are you a lane 1 guy or are you a lane 3 guy? You tell me. And now we'll talk in the currency that you want to talk in. Okay. The third part of it is daily practice, right? So you gotta do it every day, right? I've been doing this every day for 5 years, right? And if any of you guys think I'm the worst person you ever heard talk about revenue share, that should be very encouraging. That means you can do it, okay? If any of you guys think I'm the best person you ever heard talk about revenue share, I can just tell you that 5 years time on task, you know, we're all gonna sound pretty good, okay? It's a matter of doing the right things all the time. So you need daily output. And like if I was training to be, like I'll give you an example. I'm a really poor golfer, right? I just never liked golfing clothes, and the kind of guys that played golf never seemed to be my style. So I never partook in the game. And then when I was about 38, 39 years old, a bunch of my buddies who were all 10 years older than me said, all right, listen, we're all closing into retirement. We're going to play golf. If you want to keep hanging out with us, this is where you play. And I'm thinking, wow, I could spend 4 hours with these guys and listen to all the things that they know about if I could just swing this club. And I started swinging the club and I started getting better at it, and I'm competitive. So when my first son was born, I left that game at an 85, 90 scorecard, right? Now, if I picked up a club, I don't think I could get under 100. I haven't picked up a club since then, right? 2 kids, merging business, whatever else, right? So, I mean, you have to play it every day. And that's why I like golf so much, is that you can't cheat it. There's no cheating. Like you can have a great day in the court, right? But like you're going to shank if you don't swing that club, period, right? Even if you swing it all the time, you're going to shank, right? So just think of like EXP sort of like golf. The most important thing is like, enjoy it. I'm out in a beautiful landscape property with people that I like, and I'm going to swing this ball, and I'm not going to get frustrated because I'm not even keeping score, but I'm going to start practicing it. And as you start practicing it and you start winning, you start counting those wins, right? And you can either count the wins or you can count the losses. I count 58 wins got me to $1 million a year, right? It's not bad. But if it would have taken me 500, could that still get me to $1 million a year? It's not bad. I mean, if I put all of my net worth into different verticals and I live off the interest, I mean, at the 4% rule, at $4.4 million, I'm walking around at 175 grand, right? I can make that at EXP next year per month, right? I make that already in 6 weeks, right? So this is the fastest way to wealth that's ever been created. This is the first place that's ever offered it, and we are the type of people that will help you for free because we're shareholders. It's like really truly there's no holes in the net, guys. The only hole in the net is that you didn't jump in, right? You don't know that, you don't trust it yet, but you got to jump in. So anyway, so that's the triangle that I try to operate on, and it's super simple. I grew up in public school. I don't try to make mountains out of molehills. I keep it very, very basic. Okay, it's very simple. Strong agents, simple explanation of the model, and then the third part is you gotta work on this daily. You got to be talking to realtors daily. Even if you're not talking about EXP, you got to be a relationship builder, right? So all right, so I threw up all over you guys. I got that out. Okay, if you just work in that triangle, that's as much as we're going to be able to accomplish in a short call like this. Now, like, let's just totally open it up, and you ask me anything you want, like how to overcome an objection, what's the difference between a condition and an objection, what's causing you to not do anything, or where you're striking out, or what to do next. Like, let's just go play by play and see if I can like help you out here.
Awesome. Vanita, oh, you got several hands. So let's get Vanita was
Good,
first.
let's do it.
Let's go, Vanita.
Hi, can I ask you to please repeat your simple explanation of the model?
No problem. Yes, so the first part is go after strong agents, and what I use a synonym for that is icon agents.
Oh,
The second part, go ahead.
I'm so sorry, your elevator pitch, like your
the
4
3-lane highway. Yeah. Okay.
thing.
So I've got a YouTube video that's 90 seconds where I do it with a couple classic cars that I have. So it's more visually stimulating, and it's EXP explained in 90 seconds. Just look at that and then memorize it.
Yeah.
Okay.
His YouTube. He's got a YouTube. We can I'll put the YouTube links that he has in the stream as well. Attach it to the classroom.
Yeah,
so
because honestly, because I'll repeat it to you again. That's fine, but it'd be so much better if you see it visually because I think it'll stick.
Yeah. Nice
Okay.
cars, by the
Thank
way,
you.
Rich.
You're
Nice
welcome.
cars.
Thanks, Chris. You know, I'm on this Buddhist kick. I sold all my classic cars. I sold all my nice watches. I'm wearing a G-Shock $70 watch that can go in the bathtub. And you know, we're like minimizing everything, but I don't have anything anymore, so I don't want to maintain like I do.
It's all right. Hey, it's all good.
But thank you. Yeah.
Ronnie, you had a question?
All right, let's go.
Oh, no, mine was the same as hers. And I like you to do it anyway, because anyone at your skill level, practice level, mastery level, each time you say it, it's like a different version with a different energy. But I'm fine going to the YouTube video if you prefer.
Listen, Ronnie, I'll tell a joke the second time if it gets a laugh. All right, so look, like, so the every single person at every brokerage is operating in the speeding lane, okay? And when mortgage rates went from 3% to 7%, guess what? Construction in that lane, right, left lane was shut down. When COVID happened and everybody got locked out of their traditional offices, it was over. When nobody wanted somebody in a house before we even knew what the protocol is, if we still even know, right? That stopped everything. So when you're in the speeding lane, it's great. You can speed, but you can also get totally clogged up and stop. EXP has 2 additional lanes that you can utilize outside of what your commissions are. And the second one is we are all shareholders, stock ownership. And with stock ownership, we are going to get shares of stock for doing real estate behaviors. We call this the cruise control lane. This is the Cadillac, Escalade. Just rolling out nice and easy, comfortable, right? No quick maneuvering, no steering jerks, not even looking at your map. You're rolling in the middle lane till you get there, right? And then the third lane is the lane where you can bring the right people over to take the road trip with you. And I call that the VW bus lane. This is the lane that helps you get off the highway. This is the lane that you must be on if you're ever going to take an exit, because you can't exit off the first lane. You can only exit off the third lane. So anyway, that was a slightly different alter for you, Ronnie, just because I'm so accommodating. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did that answer your question, Ronnie? And I will post the YouTube video link that Dylan just shared, by the way, too. It'll be in the stream, so you guys can watch that YouTube link. Awesome. All right, Sasha, go for it.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Aloha.
Aloha.
So, I am super excited because on Thursday I'm got John to do a agent Zoom for me, because somebody that I used to work with in a completely different industry is actually a broker and with another company. And when I started telling him about EXP, he's a chiropractor and he sat down and couldn't adjust me because he was so interested. So he's interested in coming over, and his wife too is an agent. So by law, she has to come if he comes, right?
That's right.
So my question is, I know what's in it for agents, but what about brokers?
I mean, EXP was actually iterated from Glenn to be the back end support for all independent brokerages. It wasn't meant for people like us on this call to come over here. We just came over here because it made a lot of sense, but it wasn't created for us. It was created to get rid of all of, so this is what so I have another video on my YouTube channel. I'm not trying to get you to subscribe. I don't monetize it. I don't care. I'll kill the channel. As soon, yeah, well, it's totally up to you. But here's the thing. When you start your own brokerage, you have a couple things, right? You have to go get some Class A space. You need some employees that are going to scroll Facebook all day because people don't have work to do all day long in an empty office, right? You're going to have supplies. You're going to have printer leases. You're going to have air conditioning. You're going to have people stealing your supplies. You're going to have a broker in charge. You're going to have to go get systems. You're going to have to pay for them. You're going to pay, retail prices for all that stuff. You're going to be stuck in a silo because you can't grow your business outside of your area. You're going to be in production, and you're going to be a bad manager and a non-existent entrepreneur. And that's what independent brokerages look like, right? Imagine if you could plug in an EXP for $150 and all that stuff goes away. So independent brokerage owners, all the parts of the job that are not the highest and best use of their time, that are not income producing activities, that are all the stress and all the in the maintenance and all of that stuff you can divorce immediately, but still keep your autonomy, still keep your name, still keep your logo, still keep your agents. And hey, if you guys like working in the same brick and mortar place, you can keep that as well too. You just got to comply. So actually, in my opinion, there's way more value for a brokerage owner to come to EXP than there is even for an individual agent.
Okay.
Okay. So for us, it's pretty simple. We can get our 16 grand back. We can get stock at the company, and we can invite our friends, and that's great. You can do all of that pretty much limitless. But if you're a brokerage owner, you can get out of pain. So if I was talking to a chiropractor, I'd say, hey, listen, you're walking around with a stone in your shoe, right? So you could walk, if you have a stone in your shoe, what do you go? You go 2, 3, 4 steps, right? But you stop the conversation and you lean over and you take the stone out of your shoe. Like everybody stops, right? Well, if you walk with that stone in your shoe for a block, you have an entirely different walk, a different gait, different compensation patterns in your frame. If you walk with a stone in your shoe for 5 years, you have a whole new different personality and not a better one, right? So what we just tell you is that we're going to get the stone out of your shoe, like right away.
And you said that's on one of your other YouTube videos, right? Because I wish I had just recorded that when you had.
There's a thumbnail that says why independent brokerage owners are coming to EXP. All my videos are like 5 minutes or less because honestly, I won't listen to anything more than 5 minutes myself.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you so
You're welcome.
much.
Good luck on that.
And then I'll add to that real quick, Sasha, just FYI, it's not really, I don't really want you to have to get to a headspace right now where you think you have to take all this in and absorb it and like learn all this dialogue, because that's why we leverage people. You have people like us, myself, and we will use us to do all that for you. Okay, or Rich.
You want to jump on the call on Thursday at noon time?
Get Chris on there. You want to put your, so like, for example, if we were playing baseball, right, and we were down a 9th inning, whoever you would put on base is who you want on that call in the top order. Okay, so we created a group in workplace called EXP Family Tree because honestly, my upline has been worthless. So I'm like, look, there's things that I'm craving that I don't want my people to crave. I can't sleep on it. I got 2 boys and a wife. I'm not going to have it that way. So we created EXP Family Tree. I created with 3 other people that were in different uplines, all from each other. And we have 8,000 people on there and we're all training for free. And it doesn't matter who you signed up under. Like I even train my upline in that group, like whatever, just get in there and get better and then be around those calls. Like the one way that you can explain EXP very well is listening to the EXP explain call that we have on Wednesdays. Or another way that you can learn about the team structure is listening to a team structure call. And you don't need to go like religiously. You just need to go until you got it. Cause like, here's the one thing, like, if you go into like a Mercedes car dealership, whoever knows the most about the car is definitely not the top salesperson every time. You have to know enough about the car to where you're hitting the emotional buttons. And then the person probably either knows more about the car than they're leading on, or will figure out all the cool features after they make the purchase. But too much information kills a sale. So just get familiar, get the right person up at bat, and then be the apprentice and watch that process.
Okay.
Absolutely. Dylan,
and
my
Chris,
friend.
when you put when you put his link in the chat, can you also put your contact?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I only have like your one that I can't reply to on your
text. So let me give everybody a lesson here. So just to leverage Chris a little bit. If you go on your My EXP Realty website, it shows who your upline is and all their contact information right on your homepage.
Oh.
Okay, so if you go on your app, like I'll show you real quick. When you go on your app,
I got it, Rich. I'll show him. I'll do a screenshot real quick and show him.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Sorry. I'm just figuring, you know what? You only have to deal with that one time, Chris, if we get it square right now. I got it.
I love it. There we go.
Beautiful. There you go. Look at that. It shows you all your sponsors. Look at that.
Yeah.
So right now you got John brought if this is Dylan's screen.
Yeah.
So he has 7 senior business partners that he can get on the phone if one person is busy.
Okay. Yep. Okay, I see.
A lot of people haven't really been in your enterprise. If you haven't been in your enterprise yet, that's another class where I get it, is how to get into your enterprise and look at your back office. This is where we monitor our revenue share every month. But there's all those contacts are there. But I also will share my number with you too. But yeah, something you're gonna say, Dylan, to add to that?
Yeah, and I was going to add for Sasha and everybody, right? When you're talking to somebody, you need to pick the third party, the person that's going to do the 3-way call. You should be somebody that will fit what that person is looking for, right? So if they're just an icon agent, get an individual icon agent. If they're a broker owner that's looking to move over, we have tons of broker owners that have moved over that can tell them in detail the pain that they're avoiding now that they've moved to EXP. If it's somebody who wants to start a team, we got tons of team leaders that can help them do that, right? So you have tons of resources on this call and amongst the team of people that will get on with the call and do it. So don't kind of shoot in the dark, right? You want to profile your prospect and then match them up with a third-party validator that's gonna relate to their story and their needs.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, we had a great conversation on this all Saturday morning for 4 hours on the Big Island. That's why everybody should be going to these events. We had an amazing open dialogue conversation for everything about this, and we'd love to support you guys. Learning the third-party validation process to make that call seamless, to make it look proficient, because that experience that agent or that potential prospect has is that first experience on that call. And if it's a bad one, holy moly. So you want the experience to be amazing.
If you're a newer agent and you're having these conversations where you're getting adjusted and then the person's sitting in the chair listening to you, it's a very easy tee up. All you do is say, look, I'm a living, walking testimonial for my experience here. Doesn't mean it's going to be your experience. These are the things that I like about it. There's so much more about it that I haven't even gotten a chance to totally dig into. So I can make the connection to a resource that can kind of really unpack all of it for you. Like, what's a good day that I'll set you guys up? I'll make a warm intro and then we can line it up, right? You got to be an invitation specialist. Invite them to learn more and make sure they know where they're going. Make sure you know where they're going. Okay.
So he's been doing this like 15 years with like a really small brokerage on the east side. And I told him, I told him everything that is great about it, and that's what got his attention. He's like, oh, well, invite me to a call. I said, okay, when you come, right? And then I was honest. I said, but to be honest, I'm not real sure what's in it for the brokers, but we can find out, you know what I mean? And he's like, oh yeah, okay. But he's interested enough because I guess the brokers that he's with, the owner is not really active at all, and he's pretty much one of the only agents, and so the guy is retiring anyway, so he's sort of like on a transition path. So I got him right in the perfect timing, I think.
Cool.
Love it.
Yeah, but thank you guys. That helps a lot.
You're welcome.
No
problem.
Awesome. Any other questions you have for Rich? There's no wrong question. One of the things I might want to touch on a little bit, Rich, is obviously you've had a long history right now in real estate. You've built teams too. You're obviously seeing a pinch like everybody else across the board nationwide on the shift in the market. You still have an active team today, right? That you're doing?
No.
Okay.
I am not a huge advocate of teams, so I won't go down a rabbit hole because I'm going to upset somebody on this call with that statement. Trust me, we have a record of doing that. So no, I don't. But I actually have a very different take on what the real estate market's going to do than what the national narrative is. I hate those types of Facebook posts out there that say, you know, marry the house, date the rate, all that type of stuff. We have non-business people, what I like to call realtors, out there giving large pieces of advice that they found from another non-business person realtor online because it got a lot of likes. And I think it's easy to get, you know, realtors can tank a market faster than the market. So I don't think that we're in big trouble, guys. I think we're going to thin out some agents for sure because we added so many agents during the boom, the COVID boom, and before that. You know, if you were on lockdown from your job, it was easy to get a real estate license the last 2 years online, right? The other thing is we have a lot of agents that have never dealt with a bad market, so there's going to be a learning curve. So if you're a little bit more experienced, you have an advantage. If you're a little bit more experienced, that might be your value proposition for other agents. And then, you know, we have a supply and demand issue. We have a third of our buyers that are in their 30s buying property. The next largest age base of people that are alive are all the boomers, and they're downsizing or piecing out, right? So we have a lot of movement that's going on, and I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for homes to be sold, especially if rates end up doing what Carl was saying, where we may flirt with a 4. If we flirt with a 4 in front of the rate, or even a 5.12, that's the new normal. We can adjust to that very fast, and it's rock and roll again, right? But at 7.25, I think it causes even people like me to say, you know, like, why do I want to experiment with me and do something right now? Like, let me just chill out, right? And that also fell on a cycle of our market where things were gonna not be very busy at this time of the year anyway. So I think that we're in a funny pause. I think we're going into a recession. I said that we were in a recession on May 3rd. I think that we're going into a recession, but I don't think we're going into 2007 and 8. I can assure you, we don't have that many bad mortgages out there. We have a ton of new buyer bases. I think we're going to be in good shape. I think being in a niche part of the business would be very important. So if I was an agent right now, I would be working in luxury. I would be working in Airbnbs. I would be working with REIT investors, REIT. I would be working in all of the new verticals that all of us agents like me that are in my late 40s would say, okay, I don't want to learn how to do short sales now again, or I don't want to learn this, right? Like I'd be working in all those places. You know, I think we're going to have REOs. So asset managers are also another good venue to start building relationships with. But I don't think we're going to have a lot of short sales. I think we have more equity, or what I'd like to call inflation, pumped into our houses than anybody can logically think of when they say that. So the only people that are going to be short selling are going to be people that bought a house in the last 12 months, which is not everybody. It's just a small population, right? And even a smaller population that are going to lose those homes. So, you know, I don't think it's doom and gloom. I think it's a good opportunity to assert yourself as an expert in one part of the business and roll, and then find other people that want to do it and teach them. And if you teach people, how to make 200 grand a year selling houses, then you can do revenue share, because most agents don't make 200 grand. Right?
Very, very true. Very true. It's a good concept. And I agree with you. I think anybody who's been in the market long enough understands that. Prior to 2007 and 8, that whole debacle, you know, rates were, I remember at 5.25, you know, 4.25, right?
Yeah.
And people were still jumping off and like super excited about buying houses. Super excited. Yeah. I mean, it was hand over fist. So we are definitely in a good place. Rates, that is not a conversation by any means to have or be a reason by it all.
Chris, what's the rate on your car payment? You probably don't remember.
No, I don't.
Okay. Like whatever. If they're not 7%, we're going to be okay. If they're 7% for 4 years, we're going to be okay. You're going to get normalized to it. So what we don't want to have happen is a housing downfall that was caused by a fearful reaction and ripple the panic across the country, which has already happened on social media. So we just have to look at the actual data. You know, I like recessions for buying real estate, because, like, for example, 6 months ago, if I wanted to buy a property, I have to overpay because everybody in the world's out there bidding on it. I probably won't even get a property if I want one. Where now we can get things done, and you don't have to be liable and waive all your responsibilities away to be attractive as an offer. You can actually do real business. So I wouldn't worry about that, guys. Only worry, you know, one thing that's been helpful for me, and I don't know if this is too much preaching on this one topic, but is just focus on the micro. Like, you know, like, for example, like Dylan, I'll use you as an example. If you want to bring over a killer of an agent that lives on your island before the year end, just everything else is white noise. Blinders, your secretariat, that's the finish line, and you can feel the heat of the other horses on you. You do one thing and then you get it done, right? And so, like, if I was in productivity, I would just be doing basic things like, okay, all my clients today are getting a personal phone call, and I'm giving them an update on what's going on, right? Tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4 of my hottest clients out for lunch and be in front of their mind. Then I'm going to send a drip email or a text message or something funny to this group of people that will get that kind of dark humor, whereas this group will get the high, you know, happy holidays. You know, I would always be doing something very small. And if you put together like 500 great small things, you're going to be in a whole different landscape than you were when you were on day one. And all of this distraction that we get on the media and through other agents and from our colleagues and people that are lateral to us is what causes you guys to lose focus. And that is the main reason why everybody on this call isn't making 7 figures of revenue share. It's not that I'm so much more talented. It's just simply that I am so much harder to get off track. Like, if the first thing you do in the morning is check your email and go on the counter punching, like, if your job starts where you have to open your computer screen or look at your phone and you're responding to other people, those are not income producing activities. Those are things that other people are ordering you to do for customer service. And I'm not saying that you can't do that as part of the scope of your job, but you shouldn't do that first. You know, like, I'm more interested in my sons when they go to a soccer game that they score points and not stop points, right? Because if I can make them score point, you know, scoring point machines, then they're used to taking the shots. And if you're used to taking the shots, you are going to do much better in life than if you spend all your time defending your goal line. So I know it's all bleeding into all this coach guru crap that everybody talks about, but honestly, staying very narrow in your focus is the most important thing you can do.
Well, I love it, because the reality is we get so fixed on all the things that people are talking about, right, on the social media stack, where everybody's got this and I'm doing this and we're doing that, we're succeeding here, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like just on crack. You're trying to figure out which one makes sense. None of them. I mean, they all might make sense for everybody that's telling it, but for you, you need to figure out your lane. You need to figure out your lane,
Yeah.
like Rich says, and get super hyper focused on that one niche. And that's where your niche is.
100%.
Yep. And live in it.
Yeah.
Live and breathe in it.
Yeah.
That's it. I love it.
You got to be an expert. Think of real estate as a hobby. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but if there's something that you guys all love doing, like if any of you guys, is anybody really good at something, like just something odd? Put it in the chat box if you are.
Yeah.
Like, is anybody like really, really good at one thing? I don't care if it's like, knitting sweaters or, making, straw hats, like whatever it is, right? Like,
Lomi. Sasha.
Okay.
Is that making Lomi? All
Yeah.
right.
Drumming.
Ronnie.
All right. Good. Okay. So I could talk a little bit more about drumming. So I'll just use that if you pardon me. But or cooking, baking, right? So like my wife, when she cooks and bakes, it's a relaxation part because she's totally focused in the recipe and she's got music on and maybe a glass of wine out and our family is all kind of cluttering around the kitchen curious, right? It's a nice time for her. It's a reset time, right? So, or drumming is another thing where you're shutting everything out and you're going into a cerebral place, right? So the way that you enjoy your passions, you should also enjoy your profession. Pick something that you like to do that you would do for free and only do that and become a specialist in it. And just, you'll get other business by being awesome, but just specialize in that one thing. So for me, I chose revenue share because I was burnt out and I was 40 years old and I was tired and I had a 1-year-old and I didn't want to miss out on the experience. Right. And because of revenue share, I had a second kid, my little guy Vigo, when I was 42, because we were at that point making 50 grand a month and I could hang out at the house much more. So it was like, okay, I'll be honest with you. If my wife didn't have so many sharp knives in the house, I'd have a third now at 45. I love having kids, right? Okay. So I mean, the point is that, just don't go in real estate and try to be an expert in marketing or systems or follow-up or social media or TikTok or prospecting. Like, don't worry about feeling stressed because you see all these things you can do. Really just do one thing. Pick one thing you like the best and then just go deep.
I love it. All right. Keeps everybody hyper focused. This should be part of your agenda, right? Figure out for your, January's coming up, 2023. Everybody has these New Year's resolutions. Maybe it's your time to identify what that one thing is and just get really, really good at it. Like amazingly good at it. And as a group collectively, maybe we can all kind of collaborate and mastermind around that. And for others that are maybe great in other areas, it might be one of those you can share some of your wins in that and maybe help influence other people in that area, right? So this is about one big fire. Tides rise all ships. We're all collectively helping one another. So, we're all talented in different ways. If you could touch your tongue to your elbow, good for you. I can't ever do that. But that's a talent that you could do and go after it, right? I love, Lonnie, you said hunting. That's awesome. There we go. Go do your thing,
It's
girl.
the same thing. Right? Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Hey, Rich, amazing. I appreciate you so much. Again, I've always loved your speaking abilities. I love watching you on stage at Build. And I just love your energy, the way you are just real down to earth, just keeping it real. There's no fluff. There's no BS. You say it how you say it, and it's reality. And whether you take it is I love that thing about the soccer. You better train your kids to be going to go score the points, man. And that's how we should be in life. We should be looking at how we score points in life instead of trying to defend them, right? And protect the goal. Go after it. Be aggressive. It's time to be the hunter, man, not the fisherman anymore. Got to be hunting. Be aggressive and figure out what that is. Thanks so much, Rich. Again, carve us some time in North Carolina. Always amazing, you guys. We look forward. Same time again next week. And FYI, yesterday we had an amazing script class. So we had several people show up for scripts. Again, every Monday, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and 2 p.m. Scripts is there. Go on the stream and check that out. And we love helping out you guys on Mondays. But anyways, you guys have an amazing week. I love you all. And I appreciate you guys dearly. So we'll see you guys all next week. Go after it, man. Go find your one thing and crush it. Get specific. All right, guys. Have a good day.